Admiral's Log. A new era emerges upon the waters of the Mediterranean theater. With their arrival, the Voyager-class heavy cruisers have stepped into the limelight. In their maiden voyage through these storied waters, these cruisers have met their inaugural test. As fate would have it, they encountered a formidable segment of the Italian Navy. The echoes of this engagement reveal success, an affirmation of both their design and the skills of their crews. Yet, amidst the triumph lies an undercurrent of recognition. A realization that the ongoing presence of hefty opposition necessitates a more robust solution. I've assembled a group of captains, naval engineers and designers to come up with new designs, capable of swiftly dealing with large groups of heavy cruisers. This new ship class will have to be fast, agile, and yet still have enough firepower to remove the threat that enemy heavy cruisers pose. This will prove not to be an easy task to complete. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 19. The war's finally over. We are no longer at war with the Italians. Interestingly, I didn't actually get nearly enough money from them, or at least, let's say my war budget isn't nearly as large as I'd hoped to take off any territory off their hands. The cheapest, if you want to call it that, is the area of the Dodecanese, which is about 700 million, but I'm not even half that. So, seeing as I don't care for any of their ships, I'm just going to say, nope, I would rather take your money. And they're going to say, sure. And they're going to give me money. Now, this of course does not mean that the war with the French has come to an end. Far from it. We've delivered even more damage here. Let's see how that's going, because I do believe we have a pretty sizable amount of victory points, about 123, let's say 124k versus 5k for the French. I, however, did not gain control of French Guiana. That's unfortunate, I keep trying it. Oh, Chile, why do you have to be this way? Once again, the Chileans decide to launch an offensive, and I have to counterattack onto Easter Island, where I already have ships. I have the 3 CLs, I have the Denver, the Springfield, and the Steamrunner. All Steamrunner class warships, and, well, they used to have ships here, but we eliminated those a few episodes ago, so now they only have 1 DD. As for my fleet, considering the war with the Italians is now over, I can pull the damaged battleships back, because some of these ships have taken a fairly healthy amount of damage, or unhealthy amount of damage, the Rochester in particular. So we're going to push all of these ships into one of our friendly ports, which I suspect is going to be either Narvik, or Tromsø, or Klaipeda. Let's go to Klaipeda. It's going to take only 2 turns. We'll be there fairly shortly. As for the rest of my ships, most of them are perfectly fine. Some of them have like, what, 8% damage? It's not that bad. The battleships that I used to have over here, I pulled those back to here. They did take some damage, especially the Galaxy. So they too are going to make their way over to Klaipeda, and because of that I'll also have an escort in the form of those Voyager-class cruisers for the next encounter. So where does that leave me with this fleet? Well, it's still a pretty high amount of tonnage. You got, what, 80, 120, 160, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Yeah, we should be able to approach the 200k tonnage. So, where can we... shall we say visit the French? Where can we visit the French? Northern Algeria is nice this time of year. Northern Algeria. It is probably not going to be that easy to... Oh. It is very easy to take. An army force of 6,000? If I get Northern Algeria, I can get Mers El Kebir, I can get Algiers. That's some really strategically placed ports right in the Mediterranean, where currently I don't have any kind of a presence. I don't have any port, I don't have any friendly harbors here either. I used to be allies with the British, but then the British said, hey guys, would you like to follow us into an alliance with the Austro-Hungarians? And I said no. Oh, sorry, not into an alliance, into a war. I said no. The British didn't like that much, so now my reputation with them has dropped from plus 100 to 6. It's really taken a big hit. They also seem to be not doing very well, as they have 73 ships being repaired. But then again, they're at war with, well, everybody. Except for myself, the Soviets, and the Spanish. Interesting. Yeah. Even the British will not be able to crank out nearly enough ships for that. What surprises me in this campaign, at least on this particular moment, is that Japan has such a large fleet. Numerically, that is. Because they seem to be going haywire on destroyers and light cruisers. That seems to be their entire spiel. Does mean that their entire tonnage is 640,000 tons. As you look at the Italians, their tonnage is a lot more. That is 1.6 million tons of Italian naval firepower. It's 7 battleships, 4 battlecruisers, 54 heavy cruisers. And I thought I'd taken down a bunch of them. And they're building more. Yikes. Am I likely to encounter the Italians again? I'd say yes. And something I have not done in a while is design a new ship. I haven't really needed to. I mean, I got the Pennsylvanias from 1944, I upgraded the Enterprise to 44. The Titan should be coming out soon, but that's not exactly a good counter to heavy cruisers. The Sentinels can still do it, but I'm going to get a new design, incorporating all the latest technology that we have acquired over the last couple of episodes. What sort of ship can we create that would be good against a heavy cruiser? Especially the Italians, because the Italians have very fast ships. So I'm thinking something along the lines of a battle cruiser would be more suited to my needs. The modern battleship can do 34 knots optimal speed, 32, 31.5, 33.5. Wow, the battle cruiser is actually slower. That's interesting. Okay. Now, as per the rule, I'm not going to have a ship that is bigger than the flagship, so I'm not going to go over 80,000 tons. So let's say these things are going to be 77,000 tons. Notable is going to be their speed. Ideally something in the range of 35 knots. And driven by gas turbines. This is going to allow them to accelerate faster. Although in the case of a battleship, you won't exactly turn it into a race car. Or maybe a go-kart would be more apt. I mean, currently their acceleration is 0.15. Now it's going to be 0.17. If I were to do the same thing with a battlecruiser, I'm not sure if I'd get much better results. 0.198. If I give them shaft 5... Does this help with acceleration? Yes, it does. And if you put funnels on, does that change the acceleration at all? Yeah, that puts it to 2.5 knots per second. Okay, so I can probably do the same thing with the modern battleship then. So we're going to go back to 77,000 tons. We're going to say I want you to do 35 knots. I'm going to give you that gas turbine system, the best oil, the best auxiliary engine, the best shaft. Look at the price tag. Unbalanced rudder. And ideally the best steering without flash fire chances. 355 meter turning circle. If I reduce the beam, that's going to go down substantially to 295. We have an acceleration currently of 0.32, but that's without funnels. If I reduce the draft, I have a 279 meter turning circle, but I lose 50% of my speed in my turn. Okay. Also, I'm not even sure if the American towers will stand for this. No, they will not. If I go to -5, is that going to fit? Okay, we're going to go the other way around. Put it on 0. And then see how far you can shrink it. There. -1%. That's not very good. What am I going to do with this ship? I need it to take down heavy cruisers on the quick. 3 knots acceleration per second. So you can reach full speed in 10 seconds. Because you'll never exactly fall flat. Yeah, that should work. Alright, let's first get the best armor. Maximum anti-torpedo. Because I'm expecting this ship to take hits. I mean, it's going to be out there in the front line. Trying to get rid of cruisers. So it is most likely going to take a bunch of hits. Best sonar. Yeah. Okay, I got 9,000 tons for both main armament and secondary armament. Can I put 8-inchers on here? Sadly, no. I could put them over there. Because 8-inch might be sufficient to take down those cruisers. Unfortunately, the American ships are a little limited in what you can do with their layout, or their layout, because they always have that enormous modern tower, and there's just not a whole lot of flexibility. They're all kind of looking the same. When it comes to the main firepower, you got what's the other battleships? The Enterprise has 12 7s. Sovereign has 26s. You got 10 7.9ers. The Galaxy has 12 7s. It does not really get any better than 7-inch gun. And that's unfortunate, because I would like to use the 8s, but it requires a different design philosophy or a different tower. And if you take off let's say the usual modern tower, it doesn't quite look right. Good lord, pitch and roll are atrocious. Let's put some mains on this. I'm taking down heavy cruisers. So I don't need a really big gun. Right? A 12-inch Mark V, or yeah, a 12-inch Mark V ought to do the trick. Can I... Perhaps. Can I make them sort of semi-Pennsylvania? And by that I mean put side mounts on here. Ship is overweight. Yeah, by a lot. So no. It's probably the torpedo blister that's costing me an arm and a leg in displacement. That's 3,000 tons right there. How am I going to make this thing work? Because I still need to get a better sonar, turret rotation speed, propellant. When it comes to shells, I'm thinking semi-armor piercing might actually do well enough. I'm not entirely happy about this ship. Because for 709 million, it doesn't seem to be doing that much better than this. 475 million. Like, I cannot explain away a 230 million price tag increase over a ship that pretty much does the same thing. If I want to take down the heavy cruisers, could I go with my own cruiser? You got the super heavy cruiser, but also modern heavy cruiser 1. I think these are the ships that I've been using for the Voyagers. With their 10-inchers. But going to an 11-inch gun on a heavy cruiser, I mean, it can work, sure. But again, it's American, so you got those enormous modern towers of theirs. And I cannot put an 11-inch gun on there. Or can I? No, you can't. This is basically a Voyager. So that forces me back to a different modern cruiser. Oh, here, modern heavy cruiser 1, optimal speed 34.5 knots. This could be an interesting design candidate. Let's put them to 37 knots. Where is the magical barrier? What is going to make this thing go sky high? 39 knots? 39 knots. Look at that jump. 114 million. And look at the displacement. 5,000 for some artificial barrier of going from 38 to 39 knots. Okay, let's see if I can make this work with the tower. Because I would like to fit 11-inch guns on there, but that could be... It works? Okay. Ain't you dangerous? Yeah, why not go with a compact secondary tower? And then put, like, a couple of pretty big funnels on there. Oh, come on. Really? You got all these slots and nothing fits? There. Engine efficiency 20%. Yikes. Gas turbines. What? 33. Okay. 49? That's awful. What about turbo electric drive? It's gonna make the ship pretty expensive, but also 200% acceleration. There's 6 knots acceleration. Here, engine efficiency is still pretty bad. How much funnel capacity? This is 18. This is 43. So I got like 39. Oh, sorry, 37. Plus this one. If I were to swap that out for one of these. Now we're looking at 53. I'm wondering exactly how much firepower, or funnel power, I perhaps should say, I can put onto one of these ships. Because I can now accelerate by 11.5 knots per second. That's pretty crazy. Give me forced boilers. 15 knots per second? More. 16. 17. The problem is, of course, nothing else is going to fit on this ship. Least of all armament. 16 knots per second. We're still there. Let's take off one of the funnels. I'll take 10 knots. Because I still need to find like 10,000 or a few thousand tons somewhere to make this thing a little more feasible. What is so heavy? Because it's not the engine, strictly. Yeah, this weighs a lot. And that's not even upgraded yet. "12 knots per second. Sheesh. Give me super heavy semi-ballistic shells. Because with this... Let's say 12,000 meter range until we encounter a heavy cruiser and accurately shoot it. 16 inches of pen, I'll take that. Yeah. 16.6. Now let's make sure we can hit it. Quinson's rangefinder. And we still need to put something on the stern, or the ship won't exactly be balanced. One turret weighs 533 tons. Holy moly. And of course, depending on where I put it, the citadel gets a little bigger. As per the general directive for the campaign, I'll also have to make sure that these things have torpedo launchers on them. Dual deck. No. These things are kind of supposed to go into the line of battle. Supposed to go into harm's way. Let's reduce their range, whatever. I'm not really sure where to save weight, because they don't even have reinforced bulkheads yet. I could... No. I don't want to remove too much of the funnel. And I don't really have good armor, do I? Got like 3 inches on the superstructure. Let's say 8 inches on the main belt. Deck shouldn't be that much of an issue, because we're very quick. Let's go 3, 3, and 3. Can we put something smaller Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I'm already looking forward to using this particular design, because it's so odd, yet so fucking fast. 36 knots top speed, 10 knot per second acceleration. It just slows down so much slower. But we lose a lot of speed in a turn. And ironically, that's exactly what I want. If I go for an unbalanced rudder... Yeah, we got a turning circle of 247, so any torpedo that comes at me, we should be able to spot and very swiftly dodge. 2.5. Oh, we're still 3... No. I'm going to keep that at 9. Box 4. Still 10 knot acceleration. 100 tons. My problem is they might have a lot of speed, but I can't exactly guarantee that that's going to keep them safe. I have to make sure that they also have some armor. Okay. The secondaries... what if we put soft cat ballistic on them? Yeah. The secondaries are going to fire max HE. The main guns are going to fire SAPBC, so semi-armor piercing ballistic capped shell. With that, we should be able to get pretty decent damage in with both AP and HE with these shells. The main guns... the main guns are very, very, very even as well. It's almost like I don't need SAPBC. Jesus, HE has better pen all over than HE. Sorry, than AP. That's pretty nuts. No, I do want semi-ballistics. Let's just make them heavy shells. Yeah. You see, HE, I think, can still kind of bounce off, whereas SAP doesn't. Or at least not as much. Okay, where am I going to find 17 tons? There. Yeah. She's a bit of an odd duckling. But I think she'll do nicely. Really big guns. 11s. Reloading in 28 seconds. Yet, when they strike true... they should be able to knock out Italian cruisers pretty quick. Okay. So when it comes to naming this thing, the Pueblo is not exactly in line with Starfleet now, is it? We're gonna have to find something else. Considering it is a heavy cruiser, how about calling it the Ambassador class? I think that could be in line with what it does, as well as with the Star Trek theme that I have going on for this series. Can you do 37? No. Okay, 36. Alright, so that's the ship. Ambassador class. Still has a little bit of tonnage left, but I can't exactly do much with that. Now let's order a couple of those. They take 15 months to get built. Let's add a bit of time for commissioning. Maybe in a year and a half we'll see these things actually operate. And then, of course, they are in any of the ports that we have. Then it's going to take up to 2 to 3 months before they hit a theater of war. So before these things will actually fire those 11-inchers in anger, will probably be in 1946, if not 1947. Yeah, whatever. I'll take 10 of them. Better chance to have them out there. As for the rest of the world, what's been happening? Well, I'm still conquesting over here. For some reason, I have ships here, but they're not actually counting towards the conquest. I don't understand why. And the French Guiana invasion has failed. So that, sadly, didn't go through. We're still waiting for the invasion of Algiers, because it's still the same turn as when I initiated that. So beyond just the new ship class, there's not a whole lot to report. At least, not yet. A few months later, relations with the Spanish Empire have gone down. And as such, I'm now at war with the with the Spanish. I am the United States. The relationship with the British, as a result, has also tanked. So, because of this, my relationship with the British, that they have been desperately trying to fix, seems to be at risk as well. I also gain a few points with the Soviet Union, with the Austro-Hungarians, and even with Japan, the enemy of my enemy and such. Now, I have been still positioning around French Guiana, I just haven't done much with it. But the moment that a couple of French transports come out, well, can't let that slip. As for research, we're getting all sorts of super this, super that, late tech this, late radar that, because of the mod that I'm currently using, linked down below in the description. This is going to give me all sorts of bonuses. Let me show you if there's nothing coming up. I have taken over Cochin China and northern Algeria. And I think that's pretty much the last thing that I needed to really do to the French. First, research. We have the rangefinders. Normally it ends here. Radar rangefinder 3. I now have late radar technology 4 that I'm currently researching, giving me more tower spotting, more gun aiming speed, and much more gun long range accuracy. As for the rest, big guns, I'm still focusing on this. I'm getting Mark 5 15s, I got Mark 4 18s. I'm trying to get the Mark 5 20s. I don't think I've ever gotten to that phase yet. As for other designs, cruiser design, destroyer design, small guns, these are all complete. So there's not a whole lot left to research. And that is actually with a fairly low research budget, really. Normally I max it out, but let's say I'm running a pretty big fleet. And because of that, I don't really have the budget for that. So, we're at war with the Spanish. What do they have then? 39 ships, 36 of which are heavy cruisers. We're gonna play this game again. Now, interestingly, the Spanish are not just fighting me. No. They're fighting the Soviets, they're fighting the French, they're fighting the Italian. No, they're not fighting the Italians yet. They're fighting the Austro-Hungarians, and they're very closely monitoring the situation with the Japanese, because that does not seem to be going their way. So, as for a naval invasion of the Spanish state, the Balearic Islands, I'd like to invade southern Spain, but I don't think I have the tonnage quite for that. Southern Spain is defended by 687,000. That's a lot. Yeah, I don't have anywhere near that. Come again, how much do they need? 787,000 tons. How big is my entire navy? Yeah, that's half the navy that would need to be over there. It's not impossible. I got 187,000 tons there. I got at least 160 here. Maybe I can try it, but I have to mean scrounging up pretty much everything, including the fleet that I have there. This is 150, 200, 250. I might be able to do it. Let's see. Can we, in fact, launch an invasion in southern Spain if I bring the whole fleet here? Just pretty much everybody is going to be making their way over to Spain. Whether this will work, you'll have to see in a future episode, because this is probably going to be a bit of a multi-episodic adventure. I do want to try and make peace with the French now. There isn't a whole lot left of the French. Their economy took hit after hit, and so did their navy. They only have 27 ships left. So in the next turn, I'll probably propose a peace treaty and see if they want to go ahead with that. So, invasion of southern Spain coming up in the next episode. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for the next.